Well, hello, everyone. Let's call to order the May 11th meeting of the Monona Community Media Committee. It should be a really short meeting tonight, just more of a check-in, just to keep things on track and to report back on a few things that have happened since we last met with each other. Why don't we keep it to the agenda? Will, you've got the roll, yes?
Yes, looks like everyone is here, all 6 members and our school representative, Katie. So we're ready to go.
Fantastic. We'll send out the meeting minutes of the last meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
So move.
Bill, is there a second?
Second.
And then is there any changes that you'd like to see? Any updates, additions, corrections, anything at all? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, say aye.
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 Excellent. Opposed? All right, motion passes. So, Will, would you like to just start in on our agenda then? That'd be fine with me.
Sure. You know what? Okay, so instead of me scrambling the whole time, I had this up and now I don't.
Or do you want me to do that? Okay, so the first so the first thing on the agenda is just unfinished businesses, or actually, are there any appearances? I don't believe there are. No? All right, unfinished business is just the Monona Grove video app. And just circling back on how promotion has gone so far and whether, what we've done so far and what we still need to do.
Okay, I'm on board now. I got the agenda in front of me. Yes, so we have got a graphic on the digital displays throughout the city that we have control of, as well as the Commons TV at the high school. We have some PSAs running on WVMO. We have shared we have created a couple posts on our social media. We need to do some more of that. And Bill has wrote a PSA that I have not gotten out yet, or excuse me, a press release that I have not gotten out yet. But that will be the next thing that happens.
Oh, we should get that out ASAP.
Yeah. I'd sent out going ahead in our agenda, maybe a little, I sent out a press release about our winnings for WVMO, and I added on our winnings for the AV Club and some of the awards we got at the Wisconsin Community Media Fest. So I set that press release out. I didn't want to bombard people with press releases this week. So that will be next week's agenda, Monday.
All right.
It's also on the website, of course, the app right on front, the news flash.
So from my notes from our April 13th meeting, the press release, Bill had already written that actually back in March, I believe. So
Right.
then I have Will and Katie as the folks who were going to be sending that out. Katie, did you ever receive the press release?
No, I think I was sending Will my press list and I haven't done that. So maybe why it's not out. So I'm doing that right now, Will.
Okay, so we'll just, we'll pick it up there. That's all right. I know it's been a busy time for everyone, and many congratulations to WVMO. That's fantastic news. If you, would you like to just take a moment to soak in some well-deserved praise, Will?
Teresa, can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Quickly before we get to that? And that is the students. So part of the awards included some of the students at the high school. Or that
No,
program? Okay,
the Wisconsin Community Media Fest is a separate organization that
Okay.
we belong to on more of the community access television side of things. That's where we won some awards. The Wisconsin
sorry,
the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association was the VMO Awards that we're a member of, that's on the radio side of things.
okay, so they're really two separate sections, but what I was looking at was to make sure that Katie had the information about the students, because Dan did not announce that in recognitions at our board meeting last night.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't, nobody had that information.
Oh, okay.
Only I did up until
Okay.
this point.
And then the other thing I'd like to see us do is put it in the high school newsletter. If we could do that. Katie will take care of it. That's no problem. She does a
Well,
great job.
I can do that. I'm at the high school. They send those.
You know what?
out.
Can I just interrupt? I feel like this is entirely my fault. I don't mean to jump ahead in the agenda. I was only saying to Will, congratulations. And then
Okay,
let's take the agenda from the top. I'm sorry. I completely did that and I didn't mean to. But yeah, that's definitely on there, what we want to talk about when we get to that point. But for now, let's just wrap up the work that is yet outstanding when it comes to the Monona Go app. So Will just talked about a press release, and Katie, I think you said that you're sending him your media list.
list.
Oh,
Yeah, right now.
I also believe the city has their own media list. I mean, that's just not even, we send out press releases all the time from the city, right?
Yeah, I basically put one together from the police chief sending it out. They're all generic. They're all news at NBC 15, you know, this,
Right.
which I guess I was hoping we had more contacts like
Well,
Jane Smith at, you know, or whoever, or Jim Brown at, so that it was actually, but we don't
I
have.
don't think you need to. This is.
No, I don't think we need to. I was just hoping.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So the Sustainability Committee sends out press releases and like we get the attention of news stations. I mean, you don't have to have a name, but yeah, I get what you're saying though. Be nice to have a name. Okay, so the press release is under control there as far as like getting that to newspapers, but the same information that's on that press release can also translate into a newsletter. Have we already done that?
No, that went out last newsletter.
Okay,
As far as
great.
city newsletter, that was in the last newsletter, and that can stay in there as far as I'm concerned for
Well,
this.
Anita will decide if we want to run it again. The school newsletter, Katie, what is that?
It was in the main newsletter for every school in the community section.
Awesome. And then school board meeting, was there any mention? I have Susan's name down for that. And we're talking about the Monona Go app. That's all we're talking about right now.
I don't know that we talked about that. It was my impression that I was gonna have a few lines of things to just read, and I hadn't received that. So
So Susan's waiting
people are
on,
talking about it and they're really excited about it, just so you know. I mean, people are stopping each other and talking about it. So it's neat.
So what if Will sends the press release to Susan?
Great.
And then Will also shares with Susan the poster that was in that magazine, whose name is slipping my attention right now. But there was a really nice graphic that was put together. And between those two things, Susan should have enough of information she needs to just mention it at a school board meeting and get that on recording. And just download it on your phone, you know, just, it's kind of fun, you know, just to see what's out there. It's kind of neat.
Well, and I can stay in touch with Katie because
Yeah.
she directs us so beautifully. I want to make sure that I follow a good pathway on that.
She absolutely.
So I'll
does.
be in touch.
All right, excellent. So we've got that, and then let me just keep my my browsers here, my committee browsers open. School newsletter, school board meeting, PSA. We said the PSA was written already. Did someone say that?
For the Monona Go,
Yeah,
yeah, that's been
I've
running.
heard stuff. Yeah, I've heard stuff on VMO. Okay. And then we talked about making announcements at sport events.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens unless we're involved.
It was assigned to Will and Brendan.
Yeah, since we don't really have any student, we're not doing any sports right now. I guess that's the tough part. That's more of a fall thing.
Okay,
Fall and winter. We could get a hold of like whoever's doing whatever they do for soccer out in the press box. And they could maybe say something, but I'm not too
That'd be
sure how
great.
that works.
that'd be great. That'd be great. So do you still want to leave your name on that one?
I think sure, that can keep me reminded. So next month when you bring it up, I'll go, okay. Although school's out in 3 weeks anyway, so.
No, I hear you. Well, things will be happening over the summer, right? And then I just have the final thing that I wrote down, school district communication. I'm not sure if that's already been handled in the school newsletter. Katie, would you have a thought on what that may have referred to?
I don't. The newsletters are our best way to get in front of
Yeah,
families. So I think that's covered.
okay, so let's
I'm
just,
not sure what else that was. Yeah.
yeah, let's just move on then. Okay. So really the only things left to do is to just get the press release out, send Susan a copy of the press release, copy of the poster. The newsletter's already taken care of for the city and the school. Susan will speak a few words at the school board meeting, and then soccer games, whatever you got. I've been bringing it up at city council meetings, and I think I mentioned it before in this forum that the first time I did it just made me laugh how in that very moment, like half the people in the room just like pulled out their phone and immediately downloaded it. So yeah. All right.
Yeah, and if people can rate it, that's also just kind of important for how it
Do we do
shows
that on
up
the app?
for searches. Yeah, you just go to the app store instead of like not on the app, but on the app store. You go into the app store and then you rate it. And you want to write something, you write something, but that's a good way to help get traction.
I've never rated an app before.
You know?
Will,
Yeah.
do you have numbers on, can you tell how many times it's been downloaded or anything?
I can't. I don't have that information though. That is the one question Brennan and I were still looking to get from the company was like, are we able to get any analytics on the app,
Okay.
or are we still only going to be able to just look at YouTube?
But you've
Okay.
already asked that question of the company.
No, we're waiting. They're rolling out some new software thing that talks about analytics.
Okay,
But we're kind of waiting to hear back. Like, I guess it's probably going to cost money to get this soft. You know, I don't know. We'll see.
okay. It shouldn't be that hard. Bill, you had a question?
Yeah, Teresa, are you gonna be at the San Damiano Beer Garden on Friday?
Unfortunately, I will not. I'll be out
Oh,
with
okay.
a birthday girlfriend of mine. What were you thinking?
Feed the information to somebody who can wrestle the mic away from the band long enough to give a plug to the couple hundred people that are gonna be standing there with phones.
Great idea. That's a great idea. So I
I
think
don't
the
know if
band
they
is
have any
called
kind of
Slow-
formal program planned, and, I mean, I kind of hope not. Boring. We're here on a beautiful night, having beer by the lake. I don't want to hear a bunch of speeches, but if they are doing like brief remarks or something like that, maybe that would be a time to give a quick plug for the app.
Are you gonna be there?
Yes, I don't know if I'll be able to speak coherently, if that's what you've got in mind, but
Oh, come on. So are you insinuating that you'll be having a very good time at the beer garden? Is that what you,
I mean,
I think
the
you're
first
very-
word in beer garden is beer, okay?
I think you're pretty eloquent. I guess where I'm going with this is, unless Will would disagree or anyone else, I don't see any issue with any of us in the room today. Just speaking on behalf of the committee and about this app for, 15 seconds.
And just bringing it up to people when you are doing stuff with people who
Yeah.
live in Monona to just say something, because those are the people that really matter.
Yeah,
People that actually live in Monona are part of it.
Well,
Yeah.
let's
Go ahead.
you and me chat by email tomorrow, and we can figure out a way that somebody who's already planning to say something can just slip this in, because I don't think anybody wants to see a cast of thousands walking up to the podium to make
Yeah,
announcements.
I wonder if somone from Parks and Rec and or San Damiano, right? San
Just
Damiano
pick
Steering
up the
Committee.
phone,
Yeah,
pick up
just
the
get
phone
Jake.
and call Andy Kitzler. Just
Mhm.
pick up the phone and call Andy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
He'll
I think sometimes Jake likes to get on the microphone. You could always write out 3 or 4 sentences and just have who's ever on the microphone speak them. Yeah. Katie, you had a question?
I have a question, but it's not related to it's related to the app, but not this conversation. So I think Amanda also has one. So if it's related, then I'll pause.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I attended the beer garden at Schluter Beach last Thursday, and they have a WVMO little recording. It's almost like, could you just add it to that, like in between or before when the singer like took breaks? There's like a
Oh,
little
did they play the radio station?
Mm-hmm. And there's like call outs. Oh, so it's a radio station. Okay. So
Yeah,
maybe that doesn't make sense.
well, if we got lucky and like it played during, right, one of the PSAs played during that, yeah. I guess, right, we could just program a ton of them to play during the time that that's happening. I was gonna say that Bill brought it up about this event, and I thought, yeah, we definitely need to get a sandwich board or whatever, some type of thing that we can take to events, or even if Parks and Rec would be so kind, maybe we team up with them and make a banner or something that has the app on it with the QR code and
That's a great idea. Because, the concerts in Winnequa Park
right, another good one.
basically come because Jake is doing so many other ones. He had kind of just said, why don't you do those? If we have a sandwich board or something that's relatively easy to put up, we'll put it up. Usually they bring the bike down there. with
Yeah,
ice
I bring
cream.
I bring the bike down occasionally, yeah. So yeah, we just need something, right, easy to put up. Same with when WVMO goes to all these events, even though it's like East Side
Yeah.
Avenue type of stuff, at least if they had a little something on the table.
Do we want to print something? Is that what I'm hearing?
I do want to print something. I don't know where the money's gonna come from. we don't have anything in the budget for that type
Right.
of stuff this year.
Right.
But maybe towards the end of the budget season, if there's a little something floating
Mhm.
around, maybe I can, or if I can talk to somebody who would donate a little something, maybe one of the local design shops or something.
What time does the beer garden start? 5 o'clock? It really wouldn't be that difficult to just say, hey, this is so-and-so from the Monona Community Media Committee. I want everyone to take out your phone and do me a favor, download the app. Boom, done. I don't know. You too.
It's the San Damiano starts at 5, I think.
Yeah,
5 to 8.
yeah. There are a lot of no cost ways we can promote this. Yeah. All right. I think my connection cut out there for a minute, but anything more to say about promotion of the Monona Go app?
I would say, Teresa, that each of us should just think about it. And at the very next meeting, make a list of 3 places or 3 ideas you would have to promote the app.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm thinking that I need to do this for the media committee and respond to you, I'm going to be more tuned in to thinking about doing it. I mean, we had a listening session with Melissa Agar. I mean, it would have been fun to say, hey, have you seen our app? I mean, it's just places where you are, where people are intrigued by that.
Mhm. Here's an idea. You said something, Susan, that I wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, if there's something that people are being asked to do between meetings, we cannot just remind them the day before the meeting, right? So, so I'm like a chronic note taker, and I just write everything down because I don't trust my memory. But what that means is that I have good notes. So I would be happy just to share my notes after the meetings. And then if Will needs to put together a more formal meeting minutes, he can continue to do that. My notes usually are just, you know, who's doing what, what's the status, or real outline stuff. I'd be happy to do that.
Well, the other thing that we do for the concerts, and we don't put out many, I'm talking, except they're expensive, and I'm not sure exactly how to do them, but you know, the wire signs, and just, if you had 10 of those and put one in the front of the library and one in the back and one at community center and one up by the district office, people, so when we do the senior concerts, that's going to be, let's say it's Tuesday night. When Monday night about 10 o'clock at night, we put the concert is tonight. We start putting those signs out. And then the next morning, as people are going to work, they all see them. And they tend to say, oh, by the way, that was nice to see the sign because I forgot it's tonight. But just, it doesn't have to be a lot.
You're talking about kind of like the campaign signs?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking
Okay.
about. Because you can put them out in a variety of places, because you basically can put them in the parks because you're a city committee. One over by the pickleball court, you know.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
places where it catches the attention. But again, those are maybe things you want to start thinking about. And if we bring them to the next meeting, because then I can pick up the phone and say, okay, how many? The signs are expensive. So
Yeah, we have no money for printed materials. So that's kind of,
well, the other thing you
challenge
can
comes
do
in.
is you can get somebody that has campaign signs that
right,
use them again, and you turn them inside out
right.
and you
Yeah.
write on it.
You know what, what would help is and I can send an email out asking department heads and whoever is the staff liaison, and you could maybe ask your counterparts on council that when you're at committee meetings, mention it at committee meetings, because all those people who are on committees are going to be the ones who are most likely more apt to use the app.
That's right. And take 2 seconds and sit down and grab their phone and put it on. I mean, people often, especially like at the senior center, they would ask you to do that.
Lois got her hand up.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
do we have a like simple social media post that could be shared by city council members?
That's what I would love to get Lois, are you able to just throw a graphic together?
Yeah, I could do that.
That'd be great. And Will has, that poster that was created for the magazine. I don't know if you need to look at that or if you just want to start from scratch, as long as it has the logo.
Mhm.
That's all you need. And I know you know how to do that, and you can size it to the right size for Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Because
Yeah, that sounds great.
yeah, please. Fabulous. Let's do that. And then once you have that ready, let us know between meetings whenever you have it. And then all of us can post it to all of our social media accounts. And Will can even have it posted to like city Facebook accounts. We can get all the city departments to post it to their own Facebook account, so we can put it on Nextdoor. But if you wouldn't mind, just share it with the committee first, and then we'll chime in on whether it's good to go. There might be some edits, and then once it's ready, we'll all just push it out there. That sounds
Sounds good.
fantastic. Thank you, Lois. What software do you use, by the way?
Illustrator.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts on promoting the Monona Go app? So again, so far we've got press releases, PSA, newsletters in the community and the school district, announcements at school board meetings, city council meetings. We don't have any money for printed information. We talked about Bill and Will getting together and talking about whether an announcement can be made at San Damiano during the event. And we're gonna have Lois put together a graphic for social media. We're also gonna, I can reach out to each department head and I can ask them to mention it at their next committee meeting and post it on their Facebook page. All right, yeah, Susan. Oh,
Another.
and the campaign signs. I'm sorry, Susan, I forgot the campaign signs.
Well,
Sorry.
just if it evolves, okay. The other place where you could have visibility, again, particularly if you had one of those campaign signs, is at the Monona Farmers Market.
True. On the sustainability committee, we've printed like little bookmarks and we hand them out at the library, and we have Sal's tomato pies puts them on their pizza boxes, sends them out, even like little business cards, little something tiny. But I really do think that digital is probably perfectly okay. I mean, people who would use an app on their phone are probably okay. The vehicle, to reach them, a digital vehicle is probably an okay vehicle or an appropriate vehicle. What do you guys think? Is there an interest in something printed? All right, if it comes up again, we can always revisit it. But for now, we'll stick with digital and it sounds like we'll stick with digital and the strategies that we've already talked about. So, all right, excellent. So then I'm going to close up the discussion on Monona Go, and I'll send my notes out after the meeting for everyone to take a look at. The next thing under new business is updates or ideas for the city newsletter. And I see Anita and Amanda are in the room. Maybe you ladies would like to share what you got.
Yeah, we have a good amount of entries coming in. I wanted to ask about the South Broadway Road that's causing a lot of consternation. I don't know if that falls within Monona, but I know I can read it in other places. There's a lot of dismay being expressed about the potholes and all that. I don't know if we can get an update on that, or does that fall outside Monona?
Anita, I feel a little out of the loop. Can you explain a bit more about South Broadway?
So it's basically not really drivable because of all the, I guess, just a tremendous amount of potholes that you can't avoid when driving down it.
And you were thinking that the newsletter might give information about.
Yeah,
like,
yes. And I
this-
didn't see
this-
anything on the
the
Public
construction
Works.
schedule or something like that?
Yeah, and there isn't anything on the Public Works page. So
Did you have any luck reaching out to Dan Stefani?
I
He's
don't
the
know who-
director of Public Works.
Okay, I can
um,
try that.
Another person that could be very helpful is Brad Bruin. He's sort of like the projects manager for the Department of Public Works.
Okay,
He could tell you some dates. I'm guessing he could tell you some really easy dates. Courtesy copy Will and me on the email.
Okay.
And just send out a little quick question, you know. So is the ask really just, you know, you'd like to include a little update in the
Mhm.
newsletter so people know a
Yes.
bit more about timeframes?
yeah,
Okay.
yes, when they could like drive safely on
So,
it
like-
again, like if you look in the Monona Facebook group or Reddit and all that, there's large threads about it.
Oh,
So we're crossing our fingers that there's actually a plan for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I don't know.
Anita, I
yet.
don't know if if you sign up for the city news flashes. I got a alert for it last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay,
so I
I'll
can
have to
forward the
look.
email to you. It doesn't,
Okay.
it just says like encourage to drive with caution
Okay.
near Walmart, preparing for repairs next week. But I know like some of the concerns on the Facebook page is like, is this Dane County? Is it Matt? Like that's not on here. So
Okay,
I'll forward you the email with the, or just send you the
Okay.
link, but
All right,
you
that'd
might
be
still
good.
need more information.
okay, cool. And then it's too late for this newsletter, but the citywide garage sale is coming up this weekend, and just for like future reference, somebody was asking me, because they know I'm on the committee, if there's like a garage sale directory that we have, like McFarland has a nice one on their website that lists like the places having sales and so forth. And
That's happening this weekend.
Mhm.
Well, we can certainly get a PSA or get it on our community calendar.
but I'm just gonna look at, so I'm sure you've already looked at my Monona.
yeah, I looked around, I found something from 2018, but
I'm just searching on garage sale. Yeah, I didn't.
My guess is the city doesn't like promote,
doesn't get-
like,
okay, all
you
right,
know, stand behind that and say we're a part of that. That they probably
Mhm.
like
okay.
easier
I'm
for us
just
to stay
curious.
out of that.
So is it just sort of maybe like an unspoken? Because I know it's kind of always around Mother's Day, right? That
Mhm.
Monona has their citywide garage sales.
Mhm.
I remember when Catherine was a toddler, that was a big deal.
Yes, yes, it
Now
is for
I
the young
don't even
moms.
think about it
And-
anymore. Yeah, okay.
All right,
Mhm.
I was just curious, because I guess McFarland has something like that, so,
Well, thanks for
Yeah.
the heads up. I will definitely get
okay,
put it on the community calendar for the radio station.
okay,
Yeah, so what, that starts like tomorrow, people, actually today, people had their
Mm-hmm. Probably,
garage sale
yeah.
stuff out.
Started today,
Yeah,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
yeah.
And actually, Wanakee was on the news last night, and they were
About the-
interviewing people out there. They actually, again, they have a map, and I think it's just a little different approach that the city hasn't really. And I don't know that everybody wants their house on a map, you know, when you're having the garage sale. It's hard to know how to do that, but we could promote it more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
And then-
there's the resources to actually create some sort of a directory. Certainly not this year, but even any year. I don't know if there's just the resources at the city to do that. And I don't know if there's any sort of organization behind these events that coordinates it. I just, but yeah, a quick PSA is probably our best bet. Yeah, okay. Anita and Amanda, are you kind of keeping sort of a calendar of the posts that you've made so that like in 2024, when we're like in April, we'll be like, oh yeah, look at the calendar. Mother's Day is coming up. It's the garage sales. You know, I wonder if we could just sort of start to build a reference that we can always look back at and get ideas based on the season of the year that we're in.
yeah, there's a spreadsheet in the folder that has a list of some evergreen topics by month.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm curious, are you getting, as time goes on, are you getting more cooperation? Are you getting more engagement, more feedback?
Yeah, but there's more people. Amanda has forwarded a few people that wanted to be added to the list to request submissions. So yeah, I would say the engagement is pretty good.
It's been a while since we've done some stats and some report outs, maybe next month. Would that be something that you would have time to do? I don't want to infringe. I know summertime is super busy sometimes, but next month or even July, you
I
know,
guess, I'm not opposed to doing that. I just want to know what's the answer we're trying, or what are we trying to get out of it? Because I know that last time we did it, just the open rates were crazy good, and there were some things that were clearly more popular than others, like development and things like that. So I guess I'd be wondering like what we're trying to get out of it.
well, I'd want to compare apples to apples. So whatever metrics we looked at last time, we'd want to re-examine those just to see if there's been any change. And then really just anything that, you know, from your expert perspective, anything that you think we should know about, anything that might indicate that there's room for improvement over here, or clearly this is something that seems to really be working.
Yeah, I can look into what's reasonable to come up with. I will say something that actually came up when we just recently added the president of the city festival to our list.
Oh,
And he did not know how to sign up for the newsletter and had just been getting like the city emails. And we kind of have a personal friend, and we knew of each other, but he's like, what is this? He showed it. I was like, I've never seen this nice newsletter before. How do I sign up for it? And I had to go to the website, because I signed up when I moved to Monona 3 years ago. And that's how I even found out about this committee and that they were looking for people. So something else to consider is like, people may not know we're promoting Monona Go. We also may want to promote getting more people signing up for the newsletter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of buried on the website.
It is.
And it'd be nice to have like a
absolutely
drop down pop-up thing that,
Do you, I know Stan Nielsen puts together a Welcome Monona bag through the senior center. I mean, that's clearly a place where you could put a paper copy in there.
Well, I
with
think we're
those-
thinking more of like, if you go to the website to try to sign up, you can't.
yeah.
It's like
Oh,
totally
you
buried.
could just make an information sheet about the newsletter and going to the website to see it. That could go in. Just a thought about, they're welcome bags. They do go to seniors mostly, but it is a way that people in the community get information.
Yeah, if we had the opt-in form like above the fold on the main page, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to find that.
I'm just out on the My Monona website, and I just searched on the phrase My Monona newsletter. But if you don't know what it's called,
Mhm.
and if you just search for newsletter, the very first thing that comes up is e-newsletter, and then you register. It takes you right to the register. But then it's a public library mail. It's not even the right thing.
Mhm.
E-newsletter, then it's My Monona e-newsletter is the third hit on the search results.
And who knows how many people actually use this.
And
service.
that's just like, there's no real explanation. It doesn't really give.
You gotta
Yeah.
scroll all the way down to the bottom of the front
Yeah, this
page,
could
the
use some
homepage
work.
to get to
Yeah,
Yeah, it
this could
does.
use some work. Is there any capacity of the folks here that would like to dig into maybe how do we make as small as possible changes on the website to have the biggest impact that would
Yeah.
let people find it more easily?
Yeah, who controls the website? So
Right, that's probably a conversation with Leah and I, and
Yeah,
then probably a conversation with just making sure, right, she can do it and it doesn't impede on anything else. As you can imagine, everybody and their brother
Right.
wants to be on the front page of the
right.
city
It's,
website.
yeah, it's not going to be top of her priority list, but you know, with a little research on our part, we might come up with 2 easy changes. That would go a long way. I don't
No,
know.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just be talking to her to figure out, where do you move it to where it's more accessible? And I don't know if, it's a templated website, so it's certainly possible to move it or to do something, I'm sure.
I wonder, Amanda and Anita, since this is really your baby, do you want to be the people that also sort of decide how it is, just how it is, how it looks on the website, or do you mind if other people were to take a stab at that?
I mean, I'm happy to give feedback, but I don't have a strong preference if there is a webmaster that works at the city that, but I also do websites as part of my job, so I can definitely give some feedback.
So when you
matter-
say webmaster, I think what you mean is someone like, I run my company website. All it means is that somewhere there's a checkbox next to my name that gives me permission to do it. It doesn't mean that I have any skill. So Leah Kimmel does, from what I can understand, she makes most of the updates to the city website. And I'm thinking if you or Anita, or perhaps there's someone else, Lois, Bill, whomever, Susan, Katie, that may want to, make suggestions, but it would really just be, getting some ideas, writing them down, sending them an email to her, CC Will and me, make sure she knows it's Community Media Committee that it's coming from. Katie?
I just want to share that similar to, because I think it's really similar to the district website, is that the city uses a template. And so the options for where things can go or how things can look will be pretty limited because it's a template built specifically for cities and villages and towns, I think.
Right.
So certainly I'm sure there are changes that we could make, but that big changes will be pretty tough.
I think the easiest thing, if whoever's gone on the website before, they have those news flash things, right? And they're right in the middle and they're all the main things that are happening. I put that up there after the newsletter, but as more things come in, it just gets pushed over to the carousel. And then if it's not up on the main screen anymore, maybe it can be like a hot topic or a featured one that stays up throughout the month or something like that. That could be one easy way I can look into that.
Yeah, Katie, I know exactly what you're talking about. Leah's probably working with a template that doesn't allow her to do a lot of customization. She's limited to the fonts she can use, the font sizes. Yeah, all that stuff. So, but sometimes just adding some textual explanation or increasing it, or, if there's already, oh, look at this little cutie pie. That's wonderful. I'm glad you brought that up. There might be a lot of people out there that don't realize that there is an e-newsletter. Yeah. All right. So anything more to be said, Anita or Amanda, about this month's e-newsletter? It's great to really see people using it more and more. And it sounds like the departments are getting back to you and
yeah, that's no problem.
Are you
There's
finding?
usually like a little bit too much content. I'm sure
Is
Amanda
that-
can.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
we trim things a little, maybe even the thing you submitted last month.
Yep. No. Yeah, you told me you did. Yep. And just today I had to cut that in half, cut that by quite some bit. So that was good. It turned out to be even better. Succinct is always a very, very, very good
That's right.
thing. All right.
And I do have to leave now to be somewhere by 6. So
Oh, okay, Anita.
all right.
I guess this is turning into a proper meeting after all. Thought it was going to be a little quickie.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks
Have
a
a
lot.
wonderful evening. Bye, Anita. All right. Will, now Finally, you get to do a little bragging on WVMO. We're at the point in the agenda
You grab that.
about the community media and WVMO awards celebration.
Yes, she's fine here. She's fine here. It's fine. We're almost done. Yes, WVMO won Station of the Year for the third time in 7 years. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, to your point, Susan, there was no high schooler involved in it, but Beatrix Pauley, who believes in middle school, she does a show and she took third place in one of the categories for her show, Bees Buzz. So there was some school component to it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it was just a good night. You know, there's a large market, there's a medium market, and there's a small market. And in some weird way, we fall into the large market category, I think, just because the fact that we're right in the middle of Madison, maybe, I don't know. So that means we're competing with Milwaukee stations and Madison stations. So yeah, I think we're just lucky that we're in a unique position where we can do some really unique content that when they judge it and the people look at it, they go, wow, this is not regular, run of the mill type of radio stuff. So we end up doing pretty good with what we do. Truth be told, we don't get a lot of first place. We had 10 third place and I don't know, 11 third place and like 5, 6 second place and 3 first place plus the first place trophy. So the bigger stations tend to get the number one, the first place in the categories.
Sure.
But because we get so many entries, it's all based on points. So you got to enter to win, and we enter to win. And I mean, you got to win. You got to be a finalist in the top 3. You can't just enter a bunch of stuff and not win, first, second, or third and still win. So we're doing very good that we're able to get into those finalists. I guess that's my point, is I feel like we have maybe not the best content because we've got a lot of volunteers and we're not polished like other radio stations, and we don't have the resources they do. Like I'm going off a tangent and then I'm done. Like one of the stations that won in Beatrix position, she did Bees Buzz and she interviewed somebody from the Children's Theater, and that's what we entered. Well, the 2 stations who were above her was somebody who did an interview with Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Oh, geez.
And then the other person was I don't remember, but it was literally somebody from like some 80s group that we all know. We'd be like, oh my gosh, well, of course, if you're going to do that, you're probably going to win because that's a pretty cool interview. So the other stations have resources to get those type of clientele. So I think it's pretty special when we do what we do on a low budget and all volunteers and the power of a small community. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
So did you say the first place award was Radio Station of the Year?
Correct.
That's incredible. And this is the 3rd year.
Third time, 18, I think we got it in 18, 20, and now 23, 22. So that press release went out today, and then the same weekend, Thursday night, and in fact, part of this was to at least have a little fun. And then I know we got to get going because it's getting late and we were supposed to be done, but let me get some pictures and share my screen so you can see the students. So hopefully this will show up. Okay, so can you see that? Did the picture show up?
No, we can see File Explorer, but no picture.
Okay, let me,
Maybe it's on a different screen.
yeah, new share. New share. Oh, here we go. Share that. All participants. Get out of here. All right, can you see that?
Yeah, it's.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's the actual thing.
Hmm.
The thing we get to keep. And then does that show up too?
We just see the trophy.
Just see the trophy. All right, I gotta
Yeah.
share something new each time. I thought this was a lot easier last time we did this. Okay, stand by. We'll get this. Okay, so that was the trophy. Here's all the people having fun at the event. You can see Beatrix in the side there and her dad.
Oh, and her
Her
dad.
dad standing above her.
Aw.
I like how she has the Welch's sparkling grape juice. That's awesome. So those are all the volunteers, obviously minus Joe, who's part-time.
Can you go around the table? Who are the volunteers? So the woman in the red hat.
DJ Shotsky, she does poker
Shots-
time.
Okay,
This is Scott Pauley,
he's
her
dead.
dad,
Yeah.
Beatrix Pauley. Here's Scott Collins, who's Savage Scott and Savage
Oh,
Wednesday nights at 8, I believe.
okay.
Who you don't see over here is Taylor Cherry, who she does Boogie Down,
Ah, yeah.
also Wednesday nights.
Is she the one that says, do a little dance?
No, that's actually that's a PSA that we do with Venus Washington.
Okay, yeah.
But she won first place for her social media work she does for her show. Yeah. No. This is Carol Hornig. She actually doesn't even volunteer at the station anymore, but she was the original volunteer for the traffic content, which is all the commercial content that we put in.
Yeah.
And she did it for like 3 years. She came in twice a week for like 2 hours, like on Monday and then on Thursday, and sat there for 2 hours each time, volunteered and got us going. So the only reason we know how to do it and what we're doing and why we're doing it so good is because she started us for the first 3 years. So I'm glad she was able to attend because she should have been there in 2018 when we won. This is Joe's wife, Phoebe, and that's Joe Martin, as you know.
Sweet.
So
That's
now if I go
fantastic.
to a new share and I'll talk
Where
to
was it held? Where was the event at?
it was at the Marriott West.
Nice.
So, new share. Okay, real quick. So here's your students. Tyler is
Tyler's
on the
great.
left. Tyler Bros is on the left of your screen in the red shirt, and Connor Davis is on the right. So we took home 6 awards at the Wisconsin Community Fest, and it was for the Monona Grove High School Senior Recognition Night last year. Hold on, hon. It was the Monona Grove teacher lip sync. They made a little highlight from the pep rally. Football graphics that Connor made, a football broadcast, and something else.
So Katie, can we get that picture? So that we
Yes.
can put it up somewhere?
Yep. Yeah.
What was Tyler's last name? Will?
Yeah. Brose.
That's Tyler. What's Connor's last
Oh,
name?
Connor, sorry, Davis.
Davis. And what was the name of this festival where they won these awards?
Festival, the Media Fest. So it's Wisconsin Community Media Fest.
And
Oh.
where was that held?
Actually, it's technically called Best of the Midwest Media Fest.
Okay.
Presented by Wisconsin Community Media. And that was at the Park Madison downtown.
Okay.
And they attended. So they got to go up, and when I went to the conference Friday, everyone said, wow, your students were so well spoken and they handled themselves so well, and so. And these are the two gentlemen that currently work at Channel 3 as well. So
And so this event honors whom? I mean, what?
community access television.
So they were speaking on behalf of who? The high school,
Monona
VMO,
Community Media.
and the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. So they were speaking on behalf. I don't even know what they said. I'm sure it was, you know. I'm sure it was great because everybody in the community access television world loves high schoolers and wishes every high school in America would be involved with what they do. So.
So cool.
Yeah, so it was a good weekend for Monona Community Media. So I will try to put something together, Anita and Amanda, to put this in the newsletter in some truncated fashion. So we don't bombard the newsletter with all of our department stuff, but definitely put it in there.
And this was just this past week, huh? Both of these in the same week.
Yep, Thursday night they received these award, and then Saturday night we received yeah, I know, it's kind of ironic how that all worked out.
So nice, so cool. I am so blown away at this group. It's just I don't know if, I mean, Madison, we have something so special here because of this community media. And I was saying to Lindsay Wood Davis that I'm the first to admit that I didn't get it at first. If I would have been on city council at the time, I probably would have voted against it. I probably would have said, it sounds kind of frivolous. It sounds
Yeah, when I
kind of
applied
like
for the job,
nice
I
to
think it is.
have, but not necessary, like somebody else is asking for money for something else that might seem more important. And now that I get it, it just brings this community together. It's amazing.
Well, I think the selling point too, right, was that there was no tax money. No,
Right.
there was no
Okay,
tax.
it was,
money
yeah.
being
What do you
spent on it,
got
so
to
that
lose? Right,
that
right,
helped.
Right, of course.
Well, and for those of us who've been on this committee for a million years, Bill Ziegler, Will has done an incredible job with this and the kids, the students at the high school. It's fabulous. And Teresa, I'm sorry, I have a 6 o'clock meeting too, but
Oh,
yeah,
that's okay,
this
Susan.
was just fabulous. Just fabulous.
You are always so full of compliments. I appreciate that about you so much. You are always so positive. So have a wonderful.
I appreciate everything that Will has done.
Yeah.
I'm serious. This is wonderful. Well, and Tyler was also the Beast in
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yes,
Yes,
he was.
very talented kids.
Yes.
One of many.
All right. Well, congratulations, Will. Outstanding for all you do. That's incredible. So you
A lot
said
of
that,
volunteers. I mean, I think it's a lot of volunteers, right? All that
Yeah.
content was pretty much volunteers, including the students. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Uh-oh, everyone froze on me. That's not good.
did my screen freeze up?
And mine did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
Yeah, mine did. I was like, wait, you froze. And I was like, wait, everybody.
Okay.
froze. So, okay, I'm back.
So what I'm hearing, what I think I heard you say is that there's already been some good a press release about the first place finish for WVMO, but there's still to be done is a press release about the Wisconsin Community Media Awards.
I tacked it on the end of.
Oh, you
the
did? Okay,
WMO
okay.
one. So we have that, and hopefully like I always forget the name of the local paper, but whatever the local paper is, hopefully maybe they would do something because it's
Okay.
educational.
Okay. Fantastic. Oh, it's wonderful. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Next on the agenda, we just have reports. I don't have any
Dang, are-
to report.
I have an orchestra concert and I've got to get going for that, but
Oh,
so-
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's where I have to go to. So, I'll be there in about.
so
30
yes, so thank you.
Okay,
And
thank
I'll
you
see you
for your
next
help,
month.
Lois.
Okay, see you, Lois.
Thank you. All right, let's wrap this up then. So any reports or committee ideas, discussions? Will, I don't have any. I will just thank one of the young men that you saw in the photo there, the kid with the orange t-shirt. He was, as Susan said, he played the part of the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. And he also helped wrangle up about half a dozen other cast members last week. And I joined them at the high school, and together we recorded a PSA, and it was a lot of fun. And it was just a silly jingle for No Mo May. So it was hilarious. So listen for it on WVMO. It was good. All right. Anything else to report from anyone? No? All right. Orchestra concert, dog walk, and then orchestra concert. That's in my future. In that case, is there a motion to adjourn? Bill's gonna move. Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Amanda's gonna second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I
All right, meeting adjourned at 6:05 PM.